Oh, right there, she's good. Okay.
Where you're supposed to be.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another fun county council budget hearing meeting. So just to kind of recap how we left things last week, I stuck around after our meeting and worked with Elizabeth, Tanya, and Keita to make sure all of our numbers all matched up, so we were playing with the same data points. And then Bill had asked to kind of make like a menu of different options. So I built a little spreadsheet or a little paper that I dropped off at all your seats, where you can kind of create your own adventure. We can go through these different budgets and you have a visual of what the salary totals look like and then what that FICA and PERF combined will look like for each of those options. There are notes at the bottom. Things I think what I would like to see today is us try to get through all of the salaries. I mean, we should be relatively quick, I think. We'll start on page 1. Keep in mind, I might suggest we hold off on the elected officials and chief deputies until we get to the end, and just focus on the employees while we go through all of these salaries. Matt and I have all of the information on our computers for almost every job. There's a couple, Emily, in the courts that we can't seem to match up on the salary study. So we'll need to, when we get to those, chat with you on those too. And then just in some conversations I've had over the past few days, I think there's a misunderstanding on what we mean by what that leveling number is. And so I think, Matt, you can correct me if you have a better way of putting this into play. But basically, when we're talking about leveling, with the salary study in the job description portion of it, they were able to classify all the different jobs and put them in different groupings, different classifications, and they have different letters associated with them just based on the type of roles those people do in that classification. So when we're talking about leveling, that would mean something like all of Comet A having the same base salary, all of Pat C having the same base salary. So it has nothing to do with what department you're in. It all has to do with the classifications those job roles fall under. So when you hear us talk about the leveling, that's where those numbers are coming from, and those are how those were established. Do you have any?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. If you've seen the study, you've seen the tables. The tables are all bucketed. Each one of those buckets, Comet A is a bucket, Comet B is a bucket, Comet C is a bucket. Those buckets have all been leveled. So an A equals X base salary, that's the level salary. C's equals X salary, that's the level salary. So basically making sure that everybody within those groups either makes at or above that leveled number. That's what we're referring to.
Great. And then,
Point being that if they are currently making above that number from salary study, they're not being reduced. They're
correct.
maintained at that
Yep,
higher salary.
frozen at that salary at this time.
And that's relatively few.
Correct. And then yesterday, yeah, Matt and I received an email from Bill that I thought was maybe a really good starting point for us to kind of look through today. So I'm going to kind of read through what he shared with us and get your input, but I think it's a good starting point for us as we go into this. So some of his current thoughts, already taking all the budget reductions that we have offered, and a few more came in. So thank you to those who sent those in. We'll review those as we get to your pages. And then we'll look for any other non-personal cuts as we're going through. And then I know I talked to Tanya about on Friday about increasing the sheriff's revenue to 200,000. I don't know if you've already done that, or Bill's suggestion was going with the 150,000.
I just wrote it on my revenue paper.
And haven't done anything else. Okay.
Did it, so it's
okay. Okay.
right. So
I'm comfortable either way. I think the sheriff mentioned two numbers, and I picked the smaller of the two, but
you can always go in the middle at 175, and we can go up from 60. That you don't have to make it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe go with 175 in the middle. Okay.
All right.
Is that good with you, gentlemen? On this side?
That was our 190.
yes.
Some of the others to keep in consideration as we're going through, except, prosecutors the pay matrix we were presented, last week, but marking it down by $5,000 each level. We can discuss these as we go. EMA director's request to be treated as part of public safety, except courts personnel at midpoint, set our cash balance to $6,250,000. And then determine amounts needed to be cut. So we'll kind of go from there. He had a suggestion of reducing salaries in if we go with the midpoint with public safety and courts to decrease in 1% increments until the cuts are made to where we need to be. So I think this is a good place to start, and kind of just see where we're going. So with that, let's open our book to page 1, and I don't believe we have any personnel,
Page 1.
on page 1. Nor do we have any in the other IT account. So, next up,
E4.
page 2.
Eugene had a couple of comments on this section.
Okay. Like to share those?
Yeah, I sent them all to you. That was Sunday. I
Oh,
slept and
I've already forgot. You had mentioned about the lead court reporter. See here. So the request was 53,546. The level was 42,473. Midpoint was 46,561.
I don't have those numbers.
I think you're reading the master commissioner.
You read mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Lead
I'm
reporters,
There you go.
I'm already on.
103,
Already
correct?
goofed up.
Yes.
Sorry. Lead court reporter, you're correct. Well, let me just read his note. His note basically says he thinks we should, his comment was maybe reducing the raise to the 42,498, external mid or more, for that request, because the request was 49,646. The level was 38,591, and the midpoint was 42,498.
And go to what again, please?
He suggests, I think, 42,498.
Why do I have 37,461?
On 103, 101.
I don't know where that
I
came
don't
from,
know,
so
I
have
don't
that.
either.
And then,
Yes, sir.
All right, let's
yeah, I'm sorry, what was
Let's
that
start at
number
the
again,
top and
please?
we'll come back to that one. So the first one, 102, assistant court reporter. The request was 4721, which is higher than the level or the midpoint.
He has built some depth,
How much?
is above that mid. I always put him, I'd have to put out.
Okay. Longevity.
Point amount.
Midpoint amount is 39,948.
So the difference is 773.
So then add that to that level.
Yeah, 773 built for her and the court reporter. They both have built longevity of 773. Which now leads to
773, which would make the level 38,240.
Say that one more time.
38,240. Is that 773 the same number for the lead court reporter? So their level. Be $39,364.
Base,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, consider like when we talk level, that would be like the new base salary for that bucket of employees.
So,
Yep.
so
And
if we decide on a midpoint number that's higher than that, that's gonna include the longevity.
we have to add the loan.
But we have to come to a base number. But if we said it was 42,498 minus 773, that could be
Repeat that one more time.
like if. Just, let's decide.
So, write down.
so with the base 39,364, we're getting 41,37, including this.
So repeat that again.
With 39,364 plus 773.
Where are you getting where are you getting that number?
Lead court order.
Lead court reporter, their level is 38,591.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you said 39.
That was the new. That was the 38,591 plus the 733 was the 39,364.
38,591, the base.
Yes.
See, this is the challenge here, right? This person has longevity. If she leaves, longevity disappears and the base salary becomes
Correct.
something else.
Goes back to 38,591.
So we have to be tracking both numbers.
And I'll put that in the note.
What'd you say the assistant court reporter, the first one was, base? Cause I just erased it.
Assistant court reporter, their
The 102?
the base before adding longevity.
Yeah.
Okay, it was 37,467. And then
467 and then original
so
level
on the
on the lead.
on the lead, the original level was 38,591.
What's the long number?
773. 773.
And you could even in that
These
almost wanted
models.
rules P9 plus 7 would do the math for you.
No, there's other stuff.
End of there. All right. Master Commissioner.
Can we just verify that we have?
Yeah.
So,
Salary test.
the 102, 101 is 38,240, right?
Yeah.
And then 103, 101 is 39,364.
Or if I have. I just say we match. Doesn't say correct. We match. All right, so Master Commissioner. I have a level of 42,473. Well, you had
273.
42,473. The level. This one has half in this budget, half in another. The midpoint on this is 46,561. Well, the level, actually, I take that back. The level is the current salary.
Yeah, the level is the current salary. So if there was no level because they didn't have that, we
We left it blank,
we
yeah.
left it the same as their current.
So this is what does SO stand for? Special occupation.
Mm-hmm.
So we were only provided with the midpoint of 46,561. What's the pleasure? Do we go, since there was no level provided, do we want to go with the midpoint?
That'd be my preference.
Or anything from anyone else? Suggestions on this side?
One being 46,561.
46,561, yep. All right,
Gives us a good place to start.
yeah, I mean, nothing's final today, we're just moving along, so, all right,
And they don't have longevity, correct?
all right, and then 105, assistant court reporter. Is there any longevity in this one? No longevity, so this one is the 37,467. No, not right now, that's why I just had that test one. Rebuild this.
We're just gonna go through the book at five.
Yeah. So, I was just gonna try to refresh that number, but okay, the table broke, so I added those rows.
Fine.
And then, build it really quick. Right. All right, are we good with that?
Yeah.
All right. Communications,
So I think this is referencing, Eugene, your note was, you thought we maybe just go with a straight percentage increase.
Let's go through that same exercise we just did on the last one, and then that might change my mind now that we're getting actual numbers associated with all these.
All right. So for, there's a couple different levels, is that right here? Of communication technicians. Some that started currently are $42,000 salary. Some are at 46, one at 44, 43. And I think, Fred, these are relative to either, how did those adjustments get made? Like some are making a little bit more.
There's $1,000 difference for every 5 years of service.
Okay, So what I think we need to do for that position is simply determine a base salary.
Yes,
Period. That's number one, and then make the adjustments to everybody's line item
accordingly.
accordingly.
I agree.
The base level of that role came in at 43,800. The midpoint, 49,300. Fred requested 49,000 for the lowest tier.
Correct.
Okay. And
Puts it right around the midpoint.
Yeah.
It's actually a little less, but
so to the question of the base salary for communication technician, do we want to start at 49,000, 49,300? I prefer the even number, to be honest with you. I think it's just simpler.
Yeah,
We've got a lot that are a little bit goofy, and in fact, I didn't really think about that, but I think the end result of a base salary should just be a flat, like an even number, not what we've
I agree with
started
that.
with. But that's just,
Anyone else have thoughts on that base salary?
You're just starting it then at 49. That's
I'm just leaving it what Fred had in there, yeah.
Instead of the 300.
Right, just the flat 49. So,
Okay, so
good, so you guys are good with that? Eugene, you got thoughts?
Not knowing what target we're shooting for at the end of this really is hard to go through each budget when one you're leveling and another one you're going to midpoint. That's my concern as we're going through this exercise here, to try and come up within a final number.
Right,
If all of a sudden you get to the final number and we've done this and we're where we want to be, I'm going back to my concern is you've now found your target, but you've not made things equal across the park. So I'm just gonna make that as a concern right now.
sure.
And if I hear that we're still needing to cut money, and maybe you lower the raise on some of these instead of at 17% and you cut that back. I think I heard somebody say you start cutting back 1% at a time
That
until
was
you.
Bill's idea, yeah,
Of the salaries that we put
at the only those at the midpoint.
okay, the ones that are leveled, is that an easy number to figure once we get through all this?
Probably.
All right, then I'll wait to get through all this and.
Okay.
I like that idea, Bill.
like Eugene, like I said all along, I think, and again, I'm only gonna argue for my department, but I think there are departments in the county that we need to pay midpoint in order to attract and retain the people that we have. I think in the past, councils have wanted to do stuff across the board, and I think that's ended up putting us where we are today. I think there are benefits to the county and to the people to recognize that there are different qualifications for different jobs, and recruiting them is very difficult.
Won't argue with one bit, Fred, on your comment there. My issue is if I'm trying to get to a bottom line number, I'm paying you your midpoint request, paying another department a leveling number, and I have to start cutting. I'm gonna probably start cutting with the midpoint and come down versus those that are already at the lowest level leveling.
I get that.
And so that's the concern I was trying to express to my fellow council.
So can we drop down to 123, 101, the supervisor?
That matches the,
This back to the previous position. So whatever the base is we established for where that number is,
Mhm.
but there was a comment made, something about based on tenure, they get more money.
It's not, we have made, I guess, like, gentleman agreements, right, with with 911 and with the sheriff's department that if we have the money, that we will try to accommodate those tenure requests. I guess, and also with the prosecutor's office, right? Those are what those salary scales are. Although we've reiterated multiple times that if we don't have the money, we can't do it. But we've said that we're open to trying to do that.
Well, I believe your department negotiated agreement to remove longevity in
For the
exchange
supervisors.
for more money, is that correct?
For the dispatchers, we negotiated to do away with longevity for the first round of raises, the first full budget that I did, because it made more sense to do away with them at that time. We also talked about doing the bump because of years of service, because they're more valuable to us. Right. I guess you can still call it longevity, but it's really a recognition of the level of service and the number of years of service they've done. Because a 20-year dispatcher has a lot more experience than somebody that I'm hiring off the street.
I completely agree.
And it's not true longevity. It's more of a step for years of service.
So here's my question, how do we administer that? So that position, let's say that person retires, and that person's level of compensation is here, but the new person coming in obviously doesn't have that 20 years.
The number is $49,000, which is what it's currently set in the budget. That's the salary that a new person would be paid regardless of.
How do we know that? How does our office know that it was?
It's not your job to know that, it's my job to know that.
We have to know that in order
Right,
to pay them.
Right, but we do a PI, we keep track of who's there and how long they've been there. The PI sets the rate of pay that comes to your office, it has nothing to do with your office.
Okay.
And put it out. And then it would
And there'd be extra money in that line. If you budgeted a line this year at 53, or for next year at 53,000, and that person retired or left, the new person coming in would only make $49,000, and that money would just stay in the budget or be allocated probably to overtime like every other thing gets allocated to, so.
Can it be handled the same for the sheriff or prosecutor? I mean,
Correct. Yeah, the answer to your question is the supervisor in this budget, it just matches the ones in the 901 budget.
This will have.
Does that help you
It's
project
exempt.
the future? So that, you know, if your concern is longevity is built into it. If this is built into it, we're trying to project based on demographic. How do we pull that number out?
Well, like, perfect example, line 110-101 is budgeted at 53,000. That's one of my most senior people, so they're $4,000 above 49. That's just, I mean, that's what's in there. Cause there's $1,000 bump for every year, and so when I did salaries this year, I took where they needed to be in their years of service, because some of them already have a bump, which is why if you look at the budget for this year, there's differences in line items. So,
We're projecting the max for this year.
the what?
We're projecting the max for next year.
Right, that
If you
53,000
have
is
turnover, it's probably gonna go down.
turnover of my more senior people, yeah.
Easy way to do it, but. Okay.
do we have any, because your supervisors, they don't get overtime?
Nope, they're exempt.
So do we need to be thinking of that FLSA number for supervisors?
They overrun the request, but the midpoint came back at 58,096.
Right, but as I've explained several times,
Cause that's what that, okay,
this is the conversation that we had with Irwin
Right.
and Shields, was they compared all of the supervisory staff to hourly employees throughout the whole study. My supervisors are not hourly, they're exempt, they're not eligible for overtime or holiday pay or anything like that. You figure overtime and holiday pay into the numbers that Irwin and Shield provided, they're still going to be under that
Okay.
number. this was one of the exceptions to the salary study because they didn't compare it apples to apples.
They're already at 62, so
Yeah.
they're already,
They're already,
we're not,
okay, yeah, you're
salary
right.
study's kind of meaningless.
I see that
That
now.
is-
Okay, great. All right, well then we'll just leave that with how that is for now. All right, thank you. And let's see, we should go to his 911 while he's up here. What page is that on? 55?
Communicate, what
be
about
cri-
the,
um,
what about communication?
15, but
Jessica, before you move away from this particular one, what did you all figure in on the 3 new positions?
yeah, it's on.
0,
I haven't
1,
put,
2,
I've,
0?
everything new, I've just kept it 0 right now,
Okay,
right now.
We took 2 of them out previously. I just ended up asking for 1 out of the 3.
All right, we'll deal with those separately. then.
You, have 0 in right now, Jessica, not even his 1, correct?
I didn't count anything that was new.
Where are we going? But
Clerk is next, isn't it?
No, we're saying keeping on
Oh,
him,
I'm
so
sorry.
page 65. So these are the supervisors that are all the same as the supervisor we were just talking about. The directors in here.
do your supervisors get comp time?
They get holiday comp time. If they work a holiday, they get 8 hours of what's called admin comp.
So for the, let's see, for get to the supervisors, when we get to the director, the midpoint that was provided to us from WIS was 83,876.
Do we, do exempt positions get comp time?
No,
They can get comp time,
Yeah.
yes.
Is there a policy in place for that?
Pull up the handbook.
Don't know the answer to that.
what'd you say the mid was on the director, 83,876?
83,876.
Thank you.
Pam, do you recall if there's anything in the handbook relative to exempt employees receiving comp time? Or do you, as in they can, I have it, but I can't search. Okay. We don't have to derail it, but we can come back. Okay.
What's the pleasure on the director as requested or at the midpoint?
let's go with the midpoint. I have a question on supervisor. What, was there any number thrown out that accurately reflects their duties from Wagner study?
EMA,
Uh,
or EMA,
In terms of what, the job description?
Not the job description, no, the salary study part of it. Was there anything there that accurately, because you said it doesn't reflect,
They didn't compare the supervisors to anything other than hourly paid employees. There were no exempt positions.
they were,
so-
yeah, they were listed as civilian pole E, so professional civilian.
But you said you compared them to something.
Yeah, I had a long discussion with them and I talked to Jessica about that, because the salary study is not a true depiction of even what the external is because they didn't compare them to hourly employees that are eligible for overtime and holiday pay and a bunch of other incentive stuff. So because they're exempt and they're not eligible for that stuff, if you compare to other dispatch centers to what people make in holiday and overtime pay, they're still underpaid. Because they don't have the ability to make more because they are exempt.
You got the 67 from.
I did a $5,000 raise for them,
Okay, just- that was
which
just-
was a percentage. back to the question about the director thing. One of the things that Irwin and Shields was trying to do was create pay equity in different classifications. And I can tell you that, put 85,000 in, I'm not gonna stand here and argue for my own raise, but I am gonna say this. When you compare the hourly rates in that current job classification, I, along with, I think, other people in that job classification are underpaid hourly when you figure out hours. So, the court administrator's position, because it's a 32.5 hour week position, makes almost $6 an hour more than I do currently. And even at 85,000 will make, I think, over $3 an hour more than I do currently. So I'm trying to get it closer to be more equitable across the pay line.
So this is a exercise we probably should address. So we've got civilian polls as a category within the study. Effective occupations and law enforcement. Within there, there's civilian poll A, which is security bailiffs at the sheriff's department, most of the COs for the jail. Civilian poll B is corporals at the jail, community correction folk. Civilian poll C is high-tech crimes, some other additional supervisors at community corrections, and then it starts with the dispatchers at 911 and civilian poll C. And then there's a civilian poll D, which includes sergeants at the jail, and civilian poll E, which are the supervisors of 911, plus the training officer of EMS and the lieutenants in the jail. And then there's a civilian poll F, which is the jail commander, and I assume that's you, deputy director, for 911.
No, he's not the deputy director, he's
He's
the
in
director.
the other, he's in the special operator or exec or whatever, he's in a different bucket. That is, there is a deputy director, it's like 101, and the statewide 911.
Okay. So, I mean, again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because ignoring basically what Fred said, not purposefully, but just because based on this. If we do something with the 911 supervisor salaries and they're raised to the 65, 67, whatever the number is, do we do the same for the 3 other positions, EMS, training officer, paramedic, and the 2 lieutenants for the jail? Because the midpoint salary at that level is $58,095.
Are they eligible for overtime and holiday pay?
That's all I say.
They are.
They're, those 3 are non-exempt according to this.
Yes, so they're eligible for holiday and overtime pay. So again, it's a flaw in the study.
They are the only, that is the only position besides the jail commander and the deputy director that are exempt in all of the civilian poll categories. And is that because that's what they were?
I'm guessing. I don't know some of the methodology that Irwin and Shield use, so.
Well, I mean, another option.
And again, well, sorry,
No, go ahead.
thinking, way too hard about this.
It was like the same argument with the highway superintendent's position. You're taking him from somebody that can get overtime and holiday pay
Yeah, yeah.
to a salaried position, and
Which is where I was gonna go next, which was simply, and we've talked about this too, Bill, that they don't all have to be the same in those categories, theoretically. I mean, it's our decision to do whatever we want. So in this case, if you got exempt versus non-exempt employees, we're gonna make a decision to do one or the other. So ultimately, the onus is on us. And I do wanna reiterate, cause I'm talking on both sides of my mouth. Cause I'm looking at this salary study like as if it's some sort of Bible, and it's not. It's really just a guide, and I just got hung up on it myself, and I didn't really mean to, but we don't need to be getting hung up on it necessarily, but it is a guide to come back to help us, come up with some level, across a lot of these, because there's so many to tackle. So just for what it's worth.
Another option, perhaps, since Fred said he just chose a percentage, 4% was the growth, that was the number we kind of looked at for the elected officials. 4% increase, raises those salaries from 62 to 64,480.
I'd be comfortable at 65.
65.
What are we talking? I'm sorry, I missed that.
The supervisors. So slightly over a 4%.
Starting there.
If that's what we want to roll with, gentlemen.
So going back to the other one.
That one loan supervisor, yeah, at 65. The other budget.
There's also the IDAX coordinator that's at the same level.
Yeah, it's classified as the same.
If we wanna move supervisor to 65 at this point, that'd be and
So we are doing 108 and 115 too. Any supervisor, so the supervisor up in communications, 123, and the supervisors in statewide 911. I'm making an assumption we're including that CAD supervisor.
Yeah, the CAD supervisor and the IDAX coordinator is the same classification.
Would any of these people, Fred, qualify, just throwing out, I'm just asking a question, for 5-year, $1,000 bump?
Absolutely. But for the supervisors, we didn't do that. We just did it for the dispatchers. There's two that have been there over 20 years, so yeah, so that would add another $4,000 under that theory, but we never did that with the supervisors.
All right.
That makes sense from your perspective. Doesn't make sense from mine.
Say that again?
Would that make sense from your perspective to recognize?
I'm never gonna argue about paying my people more money, so, I mean, yeah, I would love to do that, but we didn't do that when we did the bumps for the regular dispatchers.
Are there only 2 that would qualify?
There are 2 that have been there 20+ years that would get an additional 4,000. There are others that have been there obviously over 5 years, so they would get bumped at least 1,000, so. Yes, I mean, that,
I wanna go back to the supervisor. For me, I'm not in favor of treating a 20-year supervisor the same as an entry-level supervisor.
I think, trying to think how to phrase it.
Jim, is that your thought across all departments?
That was kind of where I was headed.
Well, so the request was for 67, we bumped it down to 65. I mean, even if we, look, I know that we haven't got to the end, but even to give somebody $1,000 or $1,500 bump, I mean, for 20-year service,
We can make a note of that, because right now we're just kind of setting the base. We can make a note to go back and
I'd like to revisit it.
revisit it, yeah.
remind us to do that, please.
I'm making a note now.
I'll send Jessica an email with the employees that it would affect in their line items.
That'd be perfect.
We've already accommodated that in the
hourly.
He's just for the supervisors,
Right,
we would do
right,
that,
right.
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I will send Jessica an email about that, just to give you what the numbers would look like.
What did we decide for the director? The midpoint, 84,000?
We haven't gotten there or the
Deputy
deputy director, so
I'd
that
like to make one quick comment also, just to make sure everybody's aware. What we're talking about here is his 911 budget out of county general, and then we would have to go back and whatever adjustments, if we decide on this one, go back to the supervisor and the one
The one that's in the county budget doesn't have to be changed. He doesn't have over 5 years of service, so that can stay the same regardless.
No, but if we move it from 67 to 65, that would change.
Right.
and your state 911 fund could accommodate that increase.
Well, yeah, you just got $2,000 from every single one of them.
That's true,
So I
that's
can
true.
obviously
Yeah, okay, and
add
then
some.
on the deputy director,
There's always been a $10,000 difference between the director and the deputy director. That's why it is like it is.
that's why, okay. So what's the pleasure on the director position? As requested, or?
I will say that based on the salary study, and we've had this conversation before, when I did my budget, I added a 3% increase to the numbers in the salary study that was done to accommodate for at least what the cost of living will be in 2025. And the director's salary is actually under the midpoint when you look at that, so.
And this is out of a statewide 911, so it's not a county general, it does not affect the max levy, so we wanna keep it at the 85 and 75
Yes, for now.
for now. All right. Cool. Thank you, Fred. Let's see. Clerk. We're not going to, my hope that we can maybe just hold off on the elected officials and chief deputies. So we get kind of closer to being done with things. So starting off with the first deputy elections. And it looks like all of the requested was the level. No, I take that back. Slightly over. Did you go with the percentage? Do you recall?
I do not.
Yeah. Do we have anyone in here that receives longevity? In your,
Yeah, there's a couple of them in there. I can't tell you right offhand which ones.
okay.
For what, for looking at 110 for one. Currently make 33,813. Moving up to the leveling of 34,984. Next line down 111.
So that must be their longevity.
Next one down is currently making less, 33,466, but request is 37,950.
These are based on the job study, the classifications changed on those employees. I got something here for you.
Oh, okay. So the first one is
My employees, what classification they were in. The job study.
Yeah.
I had the answer, why'd you let me ask?
Where you going? You know what they is.
Okay, so 111 is a filing office clerk, 110. And that was,
Yeah, the filing office, as you'll find, the filing office clerks were all grouped together. They came out in the grade C. So you'll see that the request for those is the same, same basically on the ones that are grade B and grade A. We kind of looped them together based on that.
so in our description, we ought to designate filing office.
Yeah, we've been dealing with that problem for a long time, and we talked a lot about that when we had our job study and our job study meetings, with you guys, that probably was the most underpaid group that I had.
Which is what?
All
Sorry, say-
along, the
which one?
filing office.
Office.
Those are the ones that are the C. There's 5 of them. These 5 girls take care of 7 courts.
So in our book, 105 says deputy clerk garnishment, but that's not correct. It should be filing.
No, we actually rewrote all the job descriptions with the job study, and we didn't, they did. We gave them the information, they changed all that. Our job descriptions, I'm sure everybody in the county can kind of say this, over the years had gotten to the point where the job description didn't fit anybody. We just slid them into a line. So at least, the great thing about this is we do have accurate job descriptions now.
So do we need to update those 5 in our book to those, just filing office?
Yes,
Would that be helpful for everyone to do?
I mean, like, title,
Yeah.
121. Filing office clerk, I guess.
I guess he just has filing office, but
everybody for me is a deputy clerk, but it's just then if there's a specific job that they do.
I read those.
2021, 2011. You have a spare paper for,
Pardon me?
you have a spare one for,
For Tanya?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Numbers, because your girls in the filing office are making more than that.
So basically,
My is for, it's the 9.
about time. We,
No.
we, we brought up the bottom for how many years?
But I'm just saying, like, usually it should be at least 9.
I'd be fine, still match. It's up to them though.
Where are you coming up?
With what I submitted, the blue
Oh,
line,
you're doing mid-external.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, on my sheet, you don't see
You're
what I
doing
put there looking at.
mid-external.
I basically submitted a budget and then I compared it to internal medium and
you're
external
doing
medium.
mid.
I think my suggestion
Oh,
is,
don't worry, it's that way.
God's name, our
yeah, Matt.
allied. I mean, my suggestion is we level the clerk's office, but there's some caveats.
I know you're not using the job study as a Bible, and I agree with that because, there are individual circumstances in every office. But what this did do was again prove the discrepancies in the pay level of my office compared to others in the county and others doing the same job. I don't argue with Tony or Fred about public service or where they stand, but, we do have a lot of important jobs. We see that child support monies are collected and paid. We work court judges, adjustments. We do all the filing for the courts, and if they don't have the paperwork they need when they have that big case, somebody's got hell to pay. So I don't want
to see the clerk's office taken for granted, and I feel like it has been for many years.
So let me ask you to start, the common A positions. Filing office is coming in higher. Are you saying that that job role is higher than
Yes,
the
that
other
with,
ones?
with
Okay.
it's not more important, but there's more to it with what they have to do handling the courts.
So starting on, 106.
Page 106 or pay line 106?
Line
Not
106.
line, number 106. First,
Why do I not see 106? Oh, here it is.
yeah,
Okay. What's the question?
well, their budget for that one was 35,029. The request is actually less than that. So, and that's.
I think that in the transition to the new budget sheets, some of the numbers got crossed around. Because for my 106, that person is currently making 33,466. And my request was for 34,948.
So my suggestion is for that starting base salary for the common A deputy clerk would be 35,000. Is $12.60 more than there. To just make it even. So for 106, I would suggest we just level it at 35.
That would be on all the A's.
I'm gonna go one by one. 'Cause
Okay.
there's some caveats to that. So 109 would be 35,000.
106 is 35,
Uh-huh,
and you said 109,
yeah, and 110,
110,
I'm gonna skip the next ones, down to 117. Now, this comment A here is higher. Base is not higher, but her request is higher. It was at 36,295. This is 117.
35 on that well.
Hold
what
on,
you're saying?
no, I haven't,
Hold
I'm
on.
asking why it,
We're asking why it.
I think that's a misprint, Matt. With the ones that if you're going this way, the ones I would like to see there would be 125. I'm gonna bounce around here a little bit. 106, 118, 109, 117.
you would like to see what, at the,
That 35, if you're gonna go to those, would be what we consider our base positions, our starting positions. And they all
you
work
said that
front
at one,
counter, they all answer phones, they all take payments. Their job descriptions are the same. So,
117 higher.
I think that probably is an error on my part,
okay, so that's 117, so that's 35,000.
Yeah.
And then,
because that was,
Did that,
that, and you know what? I don't know if you guys are looking at the same figure I am. That one might have some longevity in it. That might be why it was a little bit higher, but
we'll mark
you
it.
get it to the 35 for me, we'll be fine.
118 would be 35, 119 would be 35.
119 would have to be more. That's a different classification. That's a job B.
say, skip that.
I think we said 105, 109,
No,
117, 118, and 125.
I didn't have
Not
105.
105.
It's all the
105's filing
the
office.
the
Yeah,
common
106.
A's.
I'm sorry, I read the wrong line. 106.
Sorry, so
106,
back to 120,
109.
121.
Yeah.
110.
I don't show that Rick
Right.
did not mention 110, but
But it's
Matt.
actually correct.
110 is,
I don't think it changed
actually
that.
Let's say,
starting higher level.
No.
well, I see where it came from, because you asked, because our number in the book's the same, as the one above it, the one behind.
This is what I'm
One?
going by, Dan, and, yeah.
Oh, we were just doing it.
We got
I know.
We're not mad, it's just
We have a lot of comments
a lot.
than what he has.
Okay, back to 121, sorry, I know it's a pain in the ass. 121, you have it as comment C.
Yes, that is a filing clerk.
Okay, the only comment C in here under the clerk is head bookkeeper.
Remember in the meeting, Matt, the final meeting we had
Yeah,
was spent talking about this classification. And we
Okay.
took them to
okay, all right,
meeting C.
listen, I'm old too, really.
I'm the old guy, right?
Okay, comment C is 121. Okay, so we'll come back to that one then. And then 122 is comment B,
At the B, yes, sir.
B. 125. A, so that's a 35,000.
Yep.
Okay. 126. B. And 127, comment D, and 129 is a comment.
I believe also, Matt, that 127 was changed in that last meeting too.
Oh, yeah, it was.
The 127, yeah.
That was the
Well,
one that was changed to the, like, Pat.
Yeah, professional and
okay, yeah, I think you're right. That's your head person.
One of them, yeah. Not my chief deputy, but
Probably put D.
what he has.
119 and 122 are shown as grade D, that they're getting the A salary.
and
Well, that's
that
because
was,
I
I mean,
didn't notice.
that is, Bill, that is, you're right there, but that is what was corrected with, going through the job descriptions and the job studies. It was determined that the job that that particular employee did was above a level A, it was a level B. And that's why we're asking for proper compensation for that.
But you're not, that's why my point is, you're asking it for the same amount as the level A's.
What was
Look at
submitted.
119 and 122.
Well, before we even answer that, Bill, can we just say, what is our level salary for comment B? According to study, it's approximately
36,295,
36,290.
and he's got that on,
Yeah, that's what it should be for B.
What are we going with our base for B? Oh, I didn't know what
Quite
that
an
was.
even number,
What was it?
36,290.
so that would,
Guys, recap on what it is marked for what number.
We haven't marked anything yet. We're just talking.
We haven't,
Okay,
we'll go through this line by line, Tanya.
We don't want you to have to
When we're
erase as
done.
much as we are.
Yeah, just hold that thought.
Hold it.
And then keeping C at 37,467.
I think it's 37,951. Oh, that's me.
So he has an orange. Comment C, yeah.
Okay. So why don't we just go down the line in the book?
Yep.
Ready?
So what?
Okay, Tanya, now you pay attention.
All right, so 103.
103. He has requested 40,700.
As the mid, but the internal is 44,444.
No, we're not doing mid, we're doing level.
I mean, that's an internal, I'm sorry, here on this, he says mid, but it's just internal. In the orange column here,
Oh, oh no,
yeah,
this is 103, we're 102.
103.
Comment D,
Oh, I was on 127.
no, I'm going down R one, the actual book. I was
Yeah.
just starting at the top. So 103, first deputy elect,
Oh, sorry, comment D. Apologize.
Which number on that?
38,500.
103, 38, 5.
And you got that number from Rick's handout, right?
Yeah.
Right. The salary study has it differently. What number do you wanna use?
What a comment D is.
it's 38,591, but
Correct.
keeping it even. Just 38,500, is that okay?
That's fine. Are you gonna level, if there are others, level them all at that?
I would say yes, we would level them all at that.
Okay.
I'm keeping track of,
Okay, 104, did you get that, Tanya? 103,
Yeah, 103 is 38, 5.
104. Comment D, head bookkeeper,
3747.
but, okay, yeah, well,
Hey, that's a,
37,500.
whatever.
It-
This is where we need to make this decision. Do we want to round it up to 37,500?
I do. 37,500 for comment C.
37,500.
105.
Comment C, so 37,500.
106.
30.
We decided on the 35 earlier.
108.
Right now we have 36,295. Do you want to make it 36,300?
We're on 108. Just trying to compare them. C. For what? 36.
3.
3. Okay. 36,300. Okay. Comment A's. So 109 is 35,000. 110 is 35,000. 111. This is another one of the 37.5.
Excuse me, but 110 is a B, so that would need to be at the 36,300.
110 is a B.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
There's a B.
111 and 113 are 3,700. 14, 36,300. Keep track of those comments for me, Bill, or Bill, Rick, if you see that I'm missing. Okay.
What did you say, 114?
Yeah.
What?
36.3, correct?
Yep.
Comment B. 6, 3.
115, same. 116 is
115's already being paid 36,322.
oh yeah,
That would be frozen. What? Is that what we're on? Yeah.
36322.
Yes.
They're already
Same
making
as the
that.
24 budget, it's already in there.
Oh, they're frozen.
I'm just gonna ask, are these numbers on the 24 budget have longevity included? And is that a reason that it might be higher? And then the numbers that we're throwing in here, as Matt alluded to, this with or without longevity?
I think we need to go through and put the bases down and then figure out which ones get longevity.
Just raised one higher than the base, and if that 36,322 has longevity in it,
Already in it, yeah, I see what you're saying, if
I'll say
if it's already included.
36,322 and add longevity on top of that. That's why I'm asking, just to make it clear and level.
Yeah, we need to know.
Yeah, we need to know if you are correct, we do need to know that.
Okay, but to the exercise of what we're doing here, can we just get through these
Yep.
and then we'll get these back to you and Rick can make final tweak?
What are we on, 116?
116,
That's the 36,300. Then 117 is a Comet A, 35,000. 18 is a Comet A, 35,000.
Comet B.
119 is Comet B, 36,300. One is Comet C at 37.5. $122, Comet D, 36,300. 125. Oh. That one's Comet A, 30. 126, Comet C. So, uh, 127 is the deputy clerk supervisor
Which we changed.
at B. Request is at 40. I mean, that level at B is 44,443. But
44.5.
yeah,
37.
Does that mean all Pat Bs you're gonna put at that number also? Just because that was requested there?
yeah, she moved into that thing, so it's
Okay.
a little bit of an. Okay, and then 129, Comet B, right? 36.
And that one would be one that was frozen from 24 level.
Yeah, okay, you're right. So that's the 36,322. On those ones, you'll just get back to us, Rick, if there needs to be a tweak to longevity or whatever the reason was, there was a difference.
And then we need to go over on page 36 to the clerk record perpetuation fund,
We have one salary out of that fund.
Comet A.
Phone number.
So it makes 35, 30, it's, page 36, fund, 1119.
So, sorry, Comet A.
Yeah.
What was the number?
35.
Gonna take a little bit out of something else
For what?
to come up with the total request for that
Fund.
fund was 67,488. We can't go over that, is that correct?
Correct.
So if you're raising that salary by $52,
We gotta take $52
For-
if you need.
Hold on, I agree with Bill on adjustments, but when I calculate the FICA on 35,000, we're at 2678, 2,678,
And you gotta have perf also. Are you working on that?
working on that, let me get my number written down. Is that correct, Tanya?
I'm still on the last one, doing all my adjustments.
Elizabeth,
No problem.
take your turn, you're up.
And then on perf, I've got 3,920, so you've got more than enough there to offset.
that'll work. What was the FICA again?
2,678.
For a third, do you mind sharing that, Eugene, the FICA?
I calculated 2,678.
Okay.
And on the perf, 3,920.
Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay.
Everybody up to speed?
Okay, give me an M. Good. I can tab. Like,
Emily's packing her gun. It's ibuprofen.
The new total on part 125 of 924.
What number did you use for, did you use for the, or did you exclude the clerk and the chief deputy? Because right now I have those blanked out.
Well, they're in line.
As what? I'll put them in as the same number. What did you
Probably
use?
25 requested, right?
Yeah, mine's just set. I requested.
Okay. Right now I have 882,303.
Big difference.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I have it filtered to just the salary. You probably don't have it filtered that way. Stand by. $976,733.
Closer.
773 is what I have.
Said
976,773.
973.
Read the line straight down.
Yeah. Want us to go line by line, Elizabeth?
See that?
No, I don't have that working, but I'm just combining. Well, you don't. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I ordered.
And I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Rick, you have a quote on your 15 computers? Is that just an estimate?
Pardon me, Bill, I'm sorry.
Do you have a quote on the 15 new computers, or is that just an estimate?
That was an estimate on it. I
Jim gives us a rate of how much, usually it costs per computer. So we base that off of what we've done in the past.
I think that's 52 either.
I'm gonna have to meet with Jim today about a computer for the election office. I could get, if you'd like for me to, I could get him to give us a more exact number on that.
That's over $1,000 per computer.
That's kind of what
I
we're
didn't think
using.
they were running quite that.
Who's bought computers lately? They are? Okay.
And I said, I've got the quote right here on it.
Right.
It puzzles me that we have to replace them as quick as we do. They go obsolete as quick as they do. But man, it seems like every time we look up, we need a new computer.
But it's planned out.
I believe you might be right. Jess, what did you use for 102? For me?
For 102, we haven't done anything for the auditor or the chief. We just use what you requested for now.
Okay. I
But
didn't know if you were making,
no, we're gonna wait to do all the electeds and chief deputies, I think, towards the end, because we've got some decisions to make. I think I don't want to hold up all the other departments, so.
no problem.
Okay. Are you just tired?
Yeah, tired.
You want us just to go down, Tanya? No. You sure?
No, I think I got off lines when I was punching in my numbers,
Oh, okay.
so now I'm trying to straighten them out.
Okay.
Would this be a good time?
Yeah, let's just take like a 5-minute break real quick. Let Tanya get caught up and.
How much?
Who's monitoring my It's plus 1,000.
Real
Hang on a
quick.
minute.
So line 127. Deputy clerk supervisor. So to that 43,7, we need to add $490.56. So 491. Yeah, 491. Thank you. We'll round that up. 491. Let's make that new number. $37991.
120,
Yes, deputy clerk supervisor.
we had her at
Right.
43,700.
Oop, I grabbed the wrong one. Sorry,
43,000.
43,700.
I came up with 44,191 when we're
Plus-
done.
Yeah, that was me. 491,
44,191.
44,191. 44. Final answer. Remember.
Did you say there were a couple of them, Jeff?
Oh, there's more, yeah. So that's the first one. The next one is line 105. And 105 goes from 37,500, and we need to add in 736.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Line 105, we need to add 736.
30.
Yes, 38 to 36. All right. Next, line 129. Deputy registration clerk, so that base would have been 36,3
22.
to plus 491.
Are we adding that to the 22, or are we adding it like as 36.3 as the base?
I was thinking 36,3 as the base.
You're gonna make 30, you're gonna drop the 22 off, make it 36,3.
Yeah, 'cause that's the base, so you're adding the longevity to the base.
The base was 36.322.
salary.
Well, that was only because that.
Oh,
one was
right,
higher.
because she was
They wanted, they
so
wanted.
322. It is the 322.
Okay.
Three,
So it was 36,813.
36,813.
Back to, Mr. Whitehead's comment. Was the 36,222 include the 431, 491?
Yeah, that's why we get 36,813.
But if the 322 number, if the 36,322 includes the 491, should we put it back to base and then add the 491?
What Bill was saying was no, because their salary already exceeded the base.
Sure,
But that,
I know what you're saying. He's
Yeah.
already getting longevity this year, we're giving it again. I don't have a problem with that. I would take whatever she's getting this year as her base.
okay, well,
Because if she were to retire or leave, the next person who would come in that flat base. It wouldn't matter.
That's what I was just going through in my mind. It doesn't matter if he leaves, it'll come back to the 36,
Right,
whatever it was.
36,3.
36,3 is what the new person would get.
Yeah.
Okay, so then is 115 the same?
Next one is 114. 114. We add 256. Six. 1226.
$15,
108.
37, 526.
37,526.
What was your final number?
Well, we got a question now on 115, because we were trying to figure out why she was at 36,322, but
So 108 was 37, 526.
Yep.
37,526.
What did we,
We added
1226.
1226.
79.
799. All right, so Tanya, our new number, if you want to write this down, is 979,973.
That's the total.
The total
That's
for
the
that,
total.
yeah. You want to write that down.
times
Okay.
Say it again, please.
979, 910.
All right, we're gonna skip the auditor for now.
Treasurer.
Treasurer, page 7. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Treasurer.
Flip through these ones.
These look like you put the level in the anyway, right, Brad? So I think we're good here.
Well, we need to course correct them if we're gonna, are we gonna make them the same as,
Oh, yeah, the
Clerks.
comments, yep.
oh,
Comment
103 would be 37,500.
7,500,
Comment C would be 37,500.
okay,
5, the
36,300.
100. Yeah,
A is 35,
30.
B is 3,
Treasurer, 350.
All right, Tanya, our new total on that one is 353,448.
Good question.
Yep.
Brad, at 310 professional services, we talked about whether the commissioners had included that. Did we ever sort that out?
They took it out. They took it out.
They took it out of there, okay. And is that 35,000, is that the right number?
Yes, because we had 10,000 for the bank fees, and then the 25,000 is the attorney fee.
Is that, we have a contract for that amount?
Yeah, we haven't gotten anything approved, but that's what the contract will be for.
Give me a phone
That
number.
will go in front of the commissioners for that contract.
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Great, thank you, Brad.
All right, thanks.
Recorder should be.
Wait, well, it's,
Oh,
sorry.
354.
Really nothing here. There's that new position.
no, but we need to look at her perpetuation.
Where we at? I apologize.
We're on recorder. Well, we were, but we're gonna go skip the perpetuation. Under that.
It is page 58, fund 1189. All right, so we have these at All right,
36,300.
36,300, we need to increase those all 36,300. Okay,
So then, is this the same thing where we have to find $15?
yeah,
So FICA perf,
oh, well, let's check it. So the FICA, hold on, sorry. Did we skip recorder? There's
yeah,
no one in
there's no
recorder.
changes yet.
Yeah, cause it's just the elected official and the chief deputy. So this would make the FICA, she requested 910, and I'm coming up with 8,330. I think we're okay.
Are you including the part-time when you calculate that?
Oh, no. I can.
So whatever we're over, we just take out a part-time, right?
If we're over, we're trying. We'll see what FICA, if it comes in lower than we're doing. I need $15.
Um, yeah, FICA, yes. Or actually, it's the same.
9110.
Yeah.
Perf.
Her is,
Okay.
I came up with more perf. Oh, part-time doesn't get perf, though, does it?
correct. My understanding. 12,195. We're good. Like $5.
We need $10.
We reduce your
We also have a longevity line.
no. You want to come up and we'll
Quarters of them.
well, we skipped the recorder
Oh,
fund
okay.
in the
Okay,
county
I'm so
general.
sorry.
We're
Okay.
over on recorder's perpetuation.
Okay.
So because we made all of the common fees 36.3, we had to increase your budget by $15.
Okay.
So now we've got to find $15 in another line to remove.
But I have a question before we do that. In the perpetuation fund longevity, the 4,400, is that for the 3 people in that line?
It's just two. Two of the employees get longevity. One does not. So that is their total amount of the longevity they will need to get. And I guess since it's perpetuation, why can't we just adjust? Why do we have to find it cut out?
I
Because
think it's just because of how it's advertised. It was advertised as a request of
uh,
$295,071, but we just added $15 to it.
the only place we'd be able to take it is out of that part-time line because everything else, like our contractual services, that's based on what our contracts are estimated to be.
We only need 10.
So let's just create the part-time line to 10,190.
1,190.
So what did you get the updated totals for FICA and perf? Because I had did some quick math too. What did you
I just had a formula that said to sum these cells and times it by
Uh-huh.
the percent for FICA, and then sum the cells and times it times the percent for perf.
91.
Yeah, so we got the same number for
FICA.
FICA and slightly less on perf. $5 less on perf. So we only had to reduce your budget by $10 somewhere else. But this is another fund outside, so like if there's something anytime next year, you just come and make an appropriation. That's big of a deal.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we good with Dan?
Thank
We need-
you.
Thank you. We wanna. Yep, all right.
Oh boy.
Oh, here we go. This will be fun. Sheriff. Woo-hoo. Filters are lit, so it's both.
Yeah. Let's see. So let's go, MP, A, and an E.
Okay.
Look at your menu,
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff, the midpoint is slightly less than the ask, correct?
The midpoint, the ask will be slightly less than the midpoint because he went just under the midpoint for all of those. So it is like, it's slightly less already.
You're showing the request at 3,255,000, the midpoint at 3,216,000.
Oh, there may be some other opposite side of just the deputies, maybe.
No, I mean, he's a little high end. So he's a little under, but a little high. So if we started at 129, or excuse me, 103,
Right?
at the merit poll A, midpoint was 61,138. He asked for 61,1. You go to the next one, which was an merit poll E, that midpoint is 75,736, and he's asked for 79,1. So there is adjustment.
So what do we, I guess,
I think that's gonna be a start with midpoint.
the midpoint or what he requested or the lower of each?
The midpoint. If you wanna do your rounding,
Yeah, like 61,1 is what he had for A.
okay, good with that.
B, I mean, chime in if you wanna argue
It's
anything
64
here.
He's gonna get something real quick. What, we had created basically a matrix like we did in the past where we've added $250 per year. So, but it's not paid every year. It's paid every 4 years to the person. So every 4 years, a person would, if they stayed in the same rank, would get $1,000. It's basically a built-in longevity. So that's why he would be $4,000 over the midpoint, because in our matrix, that's a 22 or 25 or 27-year person. To Jim's point earlier, to us, and I've said this for years, a 20-year person is worth more than a 3-year person. A 15-year person is worth more than a 5-year person, because of their experience. So that's where that comes in.
So my suggestion would be merit poll A is 61,1.
One.
Merit poll B, 60,
Oh, there's merit poll B.
64,195 on the
Yeah,
sheet,
so
but he's
64
coming in
one.
64,1. This is just to start the conversation.
No, I get
The
it.
base, right?
C,
So
C would be, um, Since we're doing 100s, I guess we could just do 67, 100.
He was
One. The 67 one.
D would be 71, 1. And E would be 70.
You guys all get those? You wanna repeat that one more?
A, 61, 100. B, 64, 100. C, 67, 100. D, 71, 100. E, 75, 100.
All right.
And I think you talked about it a minute ago, I don't remember who it was, it may have been Fred with the supervisors, but 2 years ago, we gave up longevity also for the jail and for the merit side. In order to have a matrix, and last year the matrix wasn't followed, the council didn't, I know you guys, you say that we can't tell you that you're gonna get a raise next year or whatever, but when we give up longevity in trade for a matrix and then we don't get it, I mean, kind of a stick in the eye. And our longevity, that quote unquote longevity that we're building in for people is $250 a year. No, it's not. Break the bank.
Yeah, I think we're gonna take that into account here, right? Like, we just had to figure out what the base salary is for these different buckets. So I guess if
Yep.
we're going down, Nancy, do you know which lines have longevity, so we can add that in?
You will in a minute.
So
Would
that's
the
on the right
alternative
paper.
be to find out what the lump sum of that is, add a new line item?
Outside of base salary, just having a
All
longevity
positions
line?
would be at base, and then there would be a stipend, whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah, I mean, we have longevity in other accounts. Is that something doable, Elizabeth, Tanya?
Say again?
Like, if we were to just say, like, for some of these, where we're building in the longevity into some of these salaries, creating a line item called longevity and dumping all of that money in there versus it being actually on that salary line item, so is that too difficult for you, or is that?
Moving around.
Mm-hmm.
What would be better?
And then
Education.
the department have to track of how much per person, that they know how much is in that grand total line, they don't
Yeah.
have to break
But
just
for,
like-
yeah,
by,
sure,
but yes, that's still. But some of, they're a big office, they might have quite a bit, or office, I think, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So,
Right, but like, for them, if they were going to do like the salary scale and have
You're
a
talking
maybe,
about-
no, we're talking about like the,
I thought you were
like-
talking about.
like, let's just talk, no, like for like I said, like our gentleman's agreement with the sheriff's department.
Go by the matrix, what you're talking about. If
We,
if you
it
do
would take
something
us a
like that.
minute to figure it out, but we could do that.
Yeah, well, I'm just wanting to make
I
sure the
know,
auditor could do that, so like,
So that, I mean, we already do that, like with our
Clothing allowance.
clothing allowance, with our military and educational
just have that
incentive.
one
We already do
bucket.
that, yep.
okay,
And I mean, I already have a sheet that tells me how many years everyone's going to have as of 1/1 of 2025.
Is this more of a matrix thing or a longevity? I mean, what are you calling it? 'Cause we have
same
one-
thing. For, well, not I don't want to say
Not the
longevity,
same
I don't want to confuse it,
Church,
so
you know
like,
what I'm
it's his,
saying?
yeah, it's a salary
We need to
scale.
call it something else.
Because
Because not-
longevity on this side and the jail side, they gave that up,
Right,
with the exception
I think
of
we
4
don't want to
people.
use that word.
Yeah,
We'll stop using that word, so like, we'll
Like
say it's a
separate.
salary scale or the matrix or whatever,
Line
Yep.
or
You tell me and
something,
I'll-
we need
not
to call it-
longevity.
No,
No,
so-
we need to call it
call it
just
the
something,
matrix.
but yes, we can do it the same way we do for clothing allowance, but
Is that easier almost? And then that way the line item forever, like 104 would always be the base and they'll never, ever have anything else built into it?
I like that.
Yeah,
I do
mean,
too.
I'd like to have one more adjective besides just the matrix, I mean, the experience matrix, It's something,
Thinking of a
sheriff, I
name,
mean, if
it's
it's
not
just
like
sheriff's
we're gonna
matrix.
put it in
Matrix
a-
increases?
Oh, I like
or-
experience.
matrix.
Your tenure,
Authority makes,
I don't know, think on it.
Experience matrix or tenure matrix. We'll think about
Bill's idea is great.
experience matrix. We're gonna call it the experience matrix.
Okay, so I've leveled everybody at this, and we're saying that we're not gonna add longevity, we're gonna add it to the line,
Yes.
okay? And, so then these numbers are all gonna be even,
Yes.
so,
Yes.
So do you need me to go back and refigure all this and I come back to you
Give
with
us,
that?
yes, but just if you wanna
Yeah, but I gotta go.
give us your experience matrix total.
Okay, so I'll do that on the side now. Setting that out. There are still two people, cause you brought up about the 66 or 62 or whatever, the rolling longevity is what I've always called it in all my years. There's 2 in the jail and 2 in the sheriff's department. We're the only ones left that get it.
Let us
It's added into the base.
balance out, level out this number here and then come
you're
back
in
to
the
those.
jail though, right?
Well, we're gonna be doing all of those here in a second.
Do you know
Right
the
now they're
numbers
sheriff.
that you could just at least tell me what numbers they are and I can make a mark by those numbers so
Yep.
that
146,
this sheriff,
yep, and 155.
146.55.
146 gets $3,034. And 155 gets $491.
Okay,
Go 3, 4, what was the other one?
are we looking
$491.
to
Which one,
the
155?
jail?
The jail is line 145, 112. Gets $250. And the other one is line 162. It's $480.
For it. One,
Correct.
Nancy, would you mind repeating those?
Which one, for the jail?
Yeah.
The jail is line 162, that person gets 480.
So, down.
And then line 112 gets 250. The $250 is the head matron's line if you want it.
Hang on,
And then page 3 for the other one. Or page 23, I guess, if you want to look at it.
can we tie off the rest of the sheriff's lines first?
I just marked
What did the matron get?
250.
The matron's was 250. And on these A, Bs, and Cs that you were giving, Mr. Cantz, are those the midpoint internal or external?
External midpoint-ish.
Ish.
'Cause it's
The only one that's probably that's not quite where you guys would have. I mean, well, I don't know, because your submission for budget included that longevity potentially, right?
That roll-in, you mean, or the
Yeah,
250?
so like if we
or-
look at, if you look at,
experience.
Yes,
if you look at, 108 lieutenant, right? You submitted for a 76-1. We've leveled that role at 71-1, but he's a little bit higher than the lieutenant above. So I'm assuming that there's some offset with
Right.
longevity or
That
something.
lieutenant
Seniority.
has 25+ years.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
right now, we're gonna level it at 71.1, you're gonna take that experience thing bucket
Exactly.
and put it back.
Okay.
I mean, that will be a fairly significant figure, so we need,
Yeah. Do you want this?
yeah, I wanna drop down to 145 here, start with the bailiff.
Yeah.
So this was, so we're on 145 door bailiff,
Civilian poll, right?
William Poll, A, according to the matrix, the midpoint there is 45.6, I believe.
That's what I use.
They put in for 45.6.
What?
40, yeah, I think that's good. 45,600 for, well, no, hold on.
Comment C now.
Yeah, that's okay, you're right. 45,600,
45,600.
no, that's for CPA. So then down to 146, office manager,
C,
comment D
which is now 37.5.
as the level. The midpoint is,
Right? These are all levels.
the midpoint is, external midpoint is 39,958. Now, that's less than what they make, so they're,
But is that because of,
I'm just laying
Yeah.
the data out. We're not gonna get,
So are you using mine as an external midpoint or as an internal midpoint? Because he did everything for the sheriff and the jail, all as external midpoint.
well,
well, the office manager's not, it's a little bit higher. Your 52.2 request is higher than the
167.
167.
Because I included my 3440 into that. That you want me to pull out and put over into that new experience thing?
No,
Part of it, or are you
no, so
leaving
I'm just
that
gonna
there?
bold yours and
Okay,
put
so I had
longevity in my note.
$3,040 added to your
Okay,
external midpoint.
So just
Put
leave
me
it
at
as is.
52.2.
leave it at her request.
3,040, I wrote 3,030.
3,004. Wait a minute, let me make sure. 34, sorry, yes.
Okay.
3,034.
So are we fine just leaving it 52.2 request?
Yeah, because I think the experience model or matrix will be for the actual
Okay.
air poll, yeah,
And for correctional.
correct.
Okay. Please don't. 148, 148 and 149. Same thing, 45,600.
Comment A, the mid,
They vary here, so
well, this one, I mean, the actual mid was 44,327, he requested 326, so it's like $1 off.
we want to level that at like 44.3.
Yeah.
44,300 for 150. Guess that. 150. 44,300. Deputy below 152, that's 61.1.
hold on a second, can we revisit the receptionist real quick and just?
Yeah.
What buckets it fall in and what grade and?
Comment A,
Common A.
Okay.
Which levels at 43 and the midpoint was 44,327.
or bailiff would be 45,600.
And remember, this is the line 155 is the
Oh,
one who
you
has
already have the built-in longevity.
$491 for built-in.
Leave it in at 46,091.
Yep.
High-tech crimes unit technician, this is not, so you guys pay for one of the high-tech salaries, I guess?
We
they
pay
didn't.
Reimbursed by the state,
Okay,
most of,
$50,000 of,
50,000.
50,000 of it is
1,000,
reimbursed.
so salary plus some benefit.
Yes.
That was a CPCC. 300. All right, that's it for all the sheriff.
All right, so we just need to know,
Staying at 49,
yes.
Yeah.
2 above it are the same as well, like they say.
Yes.
Good with sheriff?
Okay.
On to jail? Oh, yeah.
Yep. 4,856,949.
Move on to the jail.
Sure. Bless you.
Jail's page 21. Do the same thing.
F. Give me 1 minute here. All right. Here's what I have for the midpoint of the civilian polls. Ready?
Yeah.
A, 45,600. B, 48,600. C, 49,300. D, 54,600. E, 60,600. F, 62,600. The,
Yeah, I'm backwards on the PCA is.
all right, so then. That was C, we called it, what was that supposed to be? PC.
Yeah. For civilian. Oh, I did civilian.
the numbers you gave us, Matt, what were those, what was the classification?
Whole civilian,
Whole
actually PC, not. And I think those numbers match in the book.
Close, there's some people that have. Or more. Get to the Ds.
Moving through them.
Because we'll want to make sure we get that experience number add back in. No, I think your numbers are off, Matt. It's like the midpoint on PPE is 58,096. So you'll probably be like straight up 58,000, I mean.
E,
I think you were looking at what was
Thank you.
advertised. You look in column U, before saying
yeah,
midpoint's actually 58, we need a lower.
and then
Flat.
now he's in that aspect. We D, 50. Probably should just. I don't know.
You have 54.6.
54.3.
54.3 for D. Okay. C,
Down either.
and then B.
What do you want to roll with? 47.4?
Yeah.
That is. Want to read those numbers out again?
All right, one more time, sorry. A is 45,600. B is 47,400. C, 49,300. D, 54,300. E, 58,000. F, 62,600. 47,400. So,
Want to just go down?
sure. So 100. 62,600.
So that's the one I spoke about last week, that the new job description, I don't feel is accurate because it moved him from non-exempt to exempt. And he's always taking overtime. He makes, if it stays like this, he'll take a pay cut next year compared to what he's making this year. And that's the jail commander. I would argue that he works as hard as anybody in county government.
This is
So-
number 100, the first line.
Yes.
Okay.
So we either have to change the job description back to non-exempt, or that 62.6 number has to go up, I mean, honestly, closer to 70.
So he and the, right, he and the deputy director of 911 health.
There's no reason that job is exempt. I mean, there's just not. It makes no sense. It's not a politically appointed job. The sheriff only has 2 appointments by state statute, the chief deputy and the head matron. That is not an appointed position. He's earned it by promotion.
Does he do the hiring for the jail?
He does the hiring, does the firing, does the promotions, he does everything.
I mean, that's,
He's saying it should be non-exempt. They're categorized in exempt because he supervises and hires and fires.
He hires fire.
Well, then we need to raise that number up, because I can't have him taking a pay cut.
give us
Can
a,
you quantify that?
figure out a number for us.
Let's look and
Okay,
see
you
what
do
he
it
did
now,
overtime last
Yeah,
year.
we're gonna, I mean,
Yeah.
if you could work on that for us,
Okay,
'cause
I will.
we're going to try to get through these and then be
Okay.
able to run some numbers.
That's
And
fine. We
right
will-
now, the tentative plan is for us to reconvene after our regular meeting on Tuesday.
Okay, so far, in the email that you received from us will be the lump sum of experience matrix for the jail and the merit, and then we'll also include what we think is an appropriate salary for him. And we'll base that off of his
W2s.
overtime last year.
Yeah.
Yep,
And my only other question then, before I go back and start doing all this, you talked about you were going to pull people out of lit and put them back into general. Are you
Maybe.
still talking that? Because that's another whole animal I'd have to
Maybe.
do everything with.
We don't know
Can't
yet.
answer that question till we get done with the,
Okay,
sorry.
okay, that's
okay, I just
understandable.
wanted to try and do it all in one
Yeah,
We
yeah.
appreciate
swoop if I
that.
could, but, okay.
We wish we could answer.
All right, let's run down these lines. 101, 45,600.
Okay.
102, 58,000 even. 103, 58,000 even. Now, hold on a minute. Same thing with the jail in terms of, longevity. or
Experience
whatever.
matrix.
Experience.
Yes, sir.
Like I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so then 103 is 58,000. 104, 54,300. 54, next one's 54,300. 54,300 for 106. 107 is 54,300. 108, 47,400.
47.4, you said?
Yep.
Oh, that's correct.
45, 110 is 45,600. 111, 45,600. 112 is the matron. That one is.
So it's midpoint, for special occupation. SO was 57,850.
And all I did was add in her role in longevity, which
Alright.
gave you the 58,100.
Keeping those separate though.
No, longevity that was historical, like that stays in, they're built in for now. We're just talking about the experience matrix or model or whatever we're calling
They're
it.
leaving it 58,100.
Yeah.
Okay.
113, 45,600. 114, 45,600. 115, 45,600. 116, 45,600. 117, 45,600. 18, 45,600. 119, 45,600. 120, 45,600. 121, 45,600. 122, 45,600. 123, 124, 125, 126, 27, 28, 45,600.
Oh, there's no 128.
Or excuse, 129. 130, 45,600. 31, 45,600. 132, 45,600. 133 is 47,400. Please.
134, 45,600. 135, 47,400. 136, 45,600. going down till 151, all of those are 45.6. So starting at 151, 47.4, 152, 47.4, 153, 45.6, 154, 45.6, 155, 45.6, 156, 45.6, 159, 47.6.
I question that one.
Yeah. 159, excuse me. Oh, that's a Comet A,
Holiday,
which would be 44.3 for the leveled. I mean, for the mid.
And can we do that?
yeah, 44.
I think commissary clerk is handled separately. If you look at him.
He's a Comet A.
Yeah, his external midpoint in the, is that what you're saying? Yeah.
44.3.
44,300 is the, he was altered on that
And then he
salary
had
study.
years of service.
He has built-in longevity.
No, he had, it would have been from the matrix, so
Okay.
whatever base you want me to put him down to, and then I'll add his years
Yeah,
in later.
44.3.
44.3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, so then the
44,300.
next three cook are LTCAs. Haven't talked about LTCs yet.
I think I did theirs at what your,
The mid on the LTCA was 41,277, which is what you did. So the third one had a little.
as the roll-in.
Third one actually had less.
Shows 41,757 that included 480.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the longevity.
Correct, that roll-in,
I
yes.
don't-
It is.
It's a her.
I remember.
I'll make that bold.
Which one? The 162.
162.
Sure, are they staying those?
Yeah, because that's actually longevity, not experience.
Well, I meant
model.
the base on them.
Those two stay. Yeah, all three of those.
Okay.
And then we're 45.6 all the way down.
I don't have any more after that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm already in lit. I sorted by lit too, I apologize.
Let me fill the pages.
Page 52,
Okay.
sorry, I sorted to,
You did all those to 45.6?
which is what
had
you
one.
requested.
No, actually, I had one that was
Oh.
48.6 because
Oh.
of his years, but it's okay.
Yeah, because we're adding them to the experience matrix.
No, he's actually gone,
Oh,
so 45.6 is what that one will be.
oh, okay, well, there you go. Lit, reset.
Okay. Do we need to make, okay, so it went down, so like for at for jail lit.
What were you saying about the one at the 48.6?
Oh, yeah, it went down, yeah. you're
He's
right.
no longer here, so it's actually
Doesn't
going to
matter.
be 45.6.
Well,
There's a
did we
writing
get
on the
there?
top half.
But that's lit, so it's all like total lit, not middle lit, so, okay. All right,
Wait, there's a sheriff lit,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
one
yeah.
person in that,
61.1.
I think I already did them when I did the
and I already had it at 61.1.
Page is that.
50. I have it 61.1.
And that's what you want it to stay at, right? Okay.
Cool. All right, I think we're good there, so if you want to get those, that number for your experience matrix, then we'll add that line back in.
Do you have a total, Matt, for jail? Oh,
Total. The lit,
No, no, we'll look at those separate.
I didn't even, total,
All right, stand by.
I'll give you the sheriff. It's 4,856,949.
Jail, I have 4,958,493.
sorry, hang on, I was on sheriff,
You okay?
okay, say that number again for jail.
4,956,693. Jail,
Darn it.
what do you do?
I ended up with 4,958,493. Did you have? 4,
5, 6.
$1,500. Yeah.
The commissary clerk, you got 4,300.
40, yeah,
41,277.
Yep.
77.
filter for like all your,
What about the SO one, the row, the matron, you have 100.
100. Filter by like your PA.
I'm good on the sheriff. I mean, I don't have any wrong.
4,700. $58,493.
58,493, yeah, I figured it out.
All right, we
Okay,
got it.
good, we got it.
What was
Okay.
your total?
4,958,493.
What was that for?
The total for the
Jail, regular jail, county jail.
without the new experience model or matrix line.
Say that number again, 419.
4,958,493. Okay. Surveyor,
Do you want the experience matrix? You want one for the jail and one for the merit side? You'll need two of them then.
Yeah, or 4, depending if there's anyone in lit. So no, so then just the 2.
I mean, we can create the line in there,
Yeah,
but it's
probably
not gonna
should.
have the
Yeah, I
amount
think
in
it doesn't hurt to create the line.
Yeah.
So, do that.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
All right, surveyor, page 11. This one, we're actually probably gonna be increasing, because I remember him saying he did like a flat 4%, so,
no, I mean, comment A level is 35.
35?
It's actually lower than what he,
Oh, okay. 8,000 on that one. Chief
which is
deputy.
less than what she makes, or he, whoever it is. So 35,924 needs to remain.
Both of those are frozen. Mhm.
What about, is that the chief?
That's
secretary,
102 on the surveyor line, secretary.
35,
Yes, they're current.
So those 2 employees are frozen.
What about
You say 2, what do you mean? There's a.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's my filter. I went to the perpetuation. Sorry. We'll go to that one next. So just the one.
And then 105 is the chief deputy inspector.
Right, well, we'll go back and do chief deputies and elected officials later. Yeah.
Correct.
All right, so now page 61, surveyors, corner perpetuation. The individual also makes more. Unless, do we know if they have any built-in longevity? That'd be the only.
The total on service.
No,
I don't think it matters right now. I mean, I guess we can.
137,943.
That include the correction on FICA for,
No. Correction, because his is in,
That was for the surveyor out of county general.
how to. I can perf can be addressed in,
37,9, what'd you say it was?
137,943.
Thank you.
Jessica, did you ever get the question of whether either one of these two employees had longevity?
I did not get that answer, no.
They
do
do
not.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
so then, if we're back in the surveyor's perpetuation fund, that would make the FICA 278 and the perf
2780.
2748. 2748. Let me get rid of cents here.
Gotta round up.
Well, to completely round up, we should go 2749. Do we want to make these adjustments to FICA and perf as we go like this? I guess we can.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
So
these funds.
2749, and then that makes perf 4024.
Why is there a line for longevity here? He does, okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, we good on surveyor? Yeah. Refresh. Please. Two. Got 53,858.
53,858.
I don't know. Purdue Extension. We've got our two employees here. Comet B, we've been going with $36,300 has been the number we've been working with. Line 105 is already there.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
What number we on, for secretary?
We're on page 12, first deputy, 105.
Oh, 105. And we have written down from whatever we were doing with 36,137 was what the study.
36,300 is what we've been running with for Comet B.
Less than what they're making.
Right, so that would be frozen. And then The secretary,
He had her at 34 from the last
What I have,
or did we reduce it?
increase.
We increased it, the request was 34,147,
Yeah,
and we put 34,984,
Should be 30.
35,000.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. There's only 2 lines this one.
I didn't have that. Okay, so 106,
Yeah, that was 106.
106 was 36,873, because that's more than,
no, that's, you're looking at 105. We're
Oh,
looking at
106.
106,
we had it at 34,9, which we've increased to 35.
but it's a Comet,
I don't
yeah,
know.
Comet A, so it's 35.
Yeah.
Line 105 does. How much is that longevity? Hold on, 36,873 minus, how much, what was the longevity on that one that's built in?
What's the total?
15 plus 720, right? 735.80.
What was that total?
Sure.
I'm still lost. So what are the two numbers that we're adding together?
2.2 for $736.
Okay. We
Right.
need to take that away from that 36,87.
Stays 36,117.
36,137, which is less than the level, right? So the level Comet B is 36.3. No, yeah, so 33 plus the 736 longevity. $37,036.
36 what?
37.
036.
Okay. Give you 190. Yes.
Give me
You ready for our total?
Yep.
193, 446.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good.
We're good.
Thank you.
Thanks. Corner.
Gavin Green, Delaware County
Full
Coroner.
Investigator.
Haven't done that.
You removed,
$11,000 out of the, I believe it was operating.
how much?
I think it was 11,000.
If I may, I had a question,
Yes?
because you had new request 7,019, but I showed your original request was not, I showed it as 21. So it was a little, I didn't write anything down yet.
What looked better?
What do you want it to be? Like, are you wanting it to
Um,
be 7?
It was gonna be, it was 5,000 we needed for the body bags and $2,000 for operating, so. Yeah, so 7,000
Okay.
total in that line.
So that would be, a deduction of 14,000 rather.
You're welcome.
Which line?
The email that he sent
Oh.
for the, line 220.
Okay.
It's a negative 14 from the 21,000. I request on a step.
Oh, I see, yeah, I see.
Instead of 21.
Yeah, but this might be a good time to remind us that salary study has incorrect hours
Oh.
for your people.
So I just wanted to kind of briefly touch on the salary study. I know we're not talking about the salaries right now, but the salary study on there showed that my chief deputy, and again, it shows the annual hours worked was 1690, but that's incorrect. Because we're working around 2,500 hours a year. And so, I mean, we do 12-hour shifts 5 days a week. So that study that we paid for, or you guys paid for, they never did a follow-up with me asking, hey, where's this? And I know that they just kind of take that assumption. And the other thing I know is that just like with the fire departments, on-call time is kind of arbitrary. Some people say, well, you're not really working. Well, we can't really do anything. So like we just literally sitting there staring at the phone and waiting. So those hours are wrong. I was just putting it out there so that when you try to break it down on an hourly rate, they're going to say, wow, you're making a pretty good hourly rate. That's not correct. So, I mean, we're 60 plus hours a week for the chief deputy and I, and then it goes Rhiannon and then our part-time people. So I just wanted to bring that up. So
Neither
Yeah.
one of those are really based on hourly rate.
yeah. I just know in years past, some council would say, well, if you broke that down, you're making $18 an hour, $23 an hour, 35. The exercise I did, I want to say 3 years ago, it would have been 3 years ago, that we were making around $5 per case versus like some of like Clinton County and that we were making $35 a case if you broke it down on a per case basis and not a per hourly basis rate. So and we don't get myself and the chief deputy, we don't get any like comp time or anything like that.
I think the administrative assistant for,
I had a note, maybe change that name. It's Esther. I don't know if that's solid.
It is.
Study. Lead investigator, office manager.
Mm-hmm.
Black.
So is it going to be all of that, lead investigator?
Yes, because they're taking, I mean, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, that they're taking, if I'm not around, then my chief deputy's assuming my role and managing everyone. Rhiannon, or the lead investigator, is making sure the schedule, making sure that we have coroners on call in case someone does die. And so it's not just a filing clerk per se. It is, she's also going on calls too.
All right, anyone else have any suggestions other than keeping it at 53? All right,
leaving it at 53.5.
Yeah.
I agree.
okay.
So the new total is 14.
Yeah, it just changed slightly, stand by. 4078.
Hmm. 468.35.
What does the chief deputy
Change it to
coroner
the
do?
operating spot is 1,000,
I'm sorry, what?
53,500.
Chief deputy coroner do?
The chief deputy coroner?
Yes.
Anytime that, I mean, he's my backup and he's on call Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4:30 AM to 4:30 PM. I'm on call 4:30 PM to 4:30 AM. We have 12-hour shifts. And then we have our part-time people that will cover Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So he's taking calls, going to scenes, everything like that. The same as me too.
So what's the distinction then between the chief deputy,
The office manager, she is also, on top of just taking calls, she is also dealing with all the phone calls that come in. She's also receiving all the,
she's a 40-hour week employee to start with.
correct, or 32.5. Yeah, she's a full-time employee.
And the deputy coroner is not.
Yes, he is.
Why is there $7,000
He's
difference?
a chief deputy, which is what we're gonna discuss later when we talk about the elected officials and their chief deputy.
There was and I know that we talked about this, it was discussed last year because we looked at our budget notes. One of the questions you actually brought up was she would be making more than the chief deputy. And Gary said it last year, Gary Venata, the chief deputy, and I agree with it. On top of the calls that Gary is doing, she is also available to take calls through the day, but then also she's managing the office and doing the scheduling as well too. I don't deal with the schedule, nor does Gary, but she is making sure that we have people on call. She's also receiving all of our autopsy reports. She's making the copies for when families come in that want the reports. So there is more tasks and duties assigned to her above and beyond what Gary and myself are doing. So she is doing more than when we do as well. Yeah. So we reduced the operating and then kept the admin, correct? Did I hear that?
Say it again.
What I,
Okay. That we reduced that operating, but then kept for the salaries for that, because we reduced.
Did you need a total?
Sure.
406, 845.
Thank you.
Okay. Assessor. We got longevity to deal with here too. Okay, so,
we have those.
okay,
already.
all right. Well, we're gonna skip the first two. So 103, I'm at B. And that would be 36,300. Just spell it out, or yell it out, Tanya, if we go across one. 104 is 36,300. We're an assessor in general. 6 is 36,300. Yep.
$150.
36,300 plus 256. Plus 256, is that what it was?
Oh, yes.
So 36,556.
30. Guys, different amounts of pay.
Well, This person's salary was significantly lower, so.
No, that's where we were at.
All right, so these are all 36.3, but what he has built longevity.
Two of them, yeah.
The next to that, at 736.
That's 37,036.
It was 37.
036.
That's on line 108. What was the one above it?
36,556.
We're going up the base of 36,290.
36.3.
36,300.
That's the only one.
And then 109 is 36,300.
And then, page 66.
James, all we've done,
I heard this one. Right, that, yeah.
go ahead.
Hi.
Oh. Your heads were all down except for one over here. And you're working.
39,700.
You have a new total.
339,724.
What'd you get, Matt?
339,724.
Now, the other day we had a 339,690 for, sales to closure.
Adjusted that with the longevity.
On page 66.
107. 36,300.
Yeah. So that's the difference of $5. I can perfect it all. Oh yeah, we'll be fine. Cause that made FICA for that one position. Let me- Which makes FICA 2777. And perf 4,065. So we're good.
Back to page 14. He requested 338,446, and somehow or another, I did it, but I came up with a 339
What line?
740.
totals.
For the county assessor total, 339,724.
He requested 338,446, though.
That's fine. We county general, I put like that $1 million in there.
Oh.
For like, so it got advertised plenty high.
I got 714, so.
Okay.
Or twice. Down wrong.
All right, we've got,
Is requested include the longevity numbers into the
61,
salary.
461. You ready to just go down, Tanya?
Sure.
That number's
61,
fine.
461, 47, 971, 36.3, 36.3, 36.3, 36,556, 37,036.
036.
Uh-huh. Yep, 1,500, 1,500, 2,000, 6,500, and 0.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Okay.
He's not getting that total either.
We got the same number, but
Easy one.
What was your total out of the
reassessment,
reassessment,
okay.
if you got it?
Oh, yeah. I came up with 556, 550.
Tanya, the chief deputy assessor line, 102. The original 25 request, I think, was 47,715. Her adjusted one was 47,971 because of the 62%.
Yeah.
You got that?
So actually, no, we have to find $5 in reassessment.
If you adjust FICA and perf,
I was okay.
you're,
Did I-
you got plenty of.
Yeah, we
Okay,
got
okay.
300.
I thought so. I don't know why. Oh, there it is. It refreshed. Sorry. 555. Excuse me. 555 033. 555 033.
Moving on.
Adult probation use. Oh no. All right.
If
15.
most
So you guys have any questions for me? Are you good? You have any
Good.
questions?
We're good.
The only comment I'd like to make is if you're gonna raise insurance 10%, I don't know if you are or not, that those two individuals on my budget are probably gonna get a cut in pay because of that increase.
Okay.
Or really close to it.
Okay.
Or break even. So I suggest, I'm sure you're gonna hear that all day long and I already have. So I hope you have a plan for that.
We just added a bunch we added more, like another 300, whatever 10% was on top of what the commissioners requested. So that
Okay.
should be covered right now, but I'll make a note of that.
You're saying if we
The
pass it to
employ-
the employees? Is
yeah,
that
the
what
Yeah,
you're-
if it passes to the employees, a 10% increase, if they're only getting, the ones that've been around for a while with this new salary ordinance is, there's only got a couple of them are only gonna get about $400 a year. And you put that 10% back on them, they're gonna be in the hole with all this cost of living and everything on top of that, they're gonna be really in the hole.
Yeah, for now, we just added it back into the county general line on the commissioner side. So
but-
right now, there has
but-
not been a change, but I made a note, so.
Make sure that these tenured people are taken care of.
Sure.
I know all the goals get everybody even, but man, these people have been around 25 and 30 years. I mean,
Yeah,
like you get somebody hired in that's 2 months ago, are gonna be making the same amount of money. I mean,
right. Okay,
That's just my comment.
I appreciate it. It's been noted.
Thank
you.
Did you guys add $5?
No, we reduced FICA and PERF.
We had a
Answer is
5
yes.
salary, we reduced
But we
it
raised
by
that
the-
salary $5.
Yeah, we raised the salary 5, yes. FICA 2777. PERF 4065. All right, we're on maybe the prosecutor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. $15.
Did get a correct email.
Yeah, yesterday I sent an email that corrected two errors. One, was an error that I think Matt pointed out last time, and then the other was an error of mine, in one of the lines.
The email.
You wanna just
Tell us
identify
or-
those?
Sure, so the first one, and I also attached a new spreadsheet. The new spreadsheet reflects the correction in the error in the lit budget, line 107, that Matt brought to my attention. That salary was brought down, I think, from 112 something, 10 something.
Yeah, 1071.
Yeah, right. And then, second error was my error in prosecutor budget, line 115. I had him down as 0 years of experience. In fact, he'll have 1 year, at the beginning of this December, so I made the minor change to that in that spreadsheet.
That's 96 now.
Um,
Right.
let me see.
He has it at 100.
100 on the matrix,
Oh, okay.
on that revised matrix that I brought last.
You said 115, right?
No, 100. Oh, I'm sorry, line, yeah,
Yeah.
115.
Okay, and then back to, real quick, just on the lit, that's 107, 100, that is accurate.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, so, leaving everything then?
So, I mean, the discussion was brought up about potentially taking that scale, but reducing it, was it 5,000, what still? As an option?
That was an option, but I guess we kinda have to know where we are before
You wanna just keep it like this for now and then?
I would keep it like
Okay.
this for now, but, and I would not, if we do that, in order to get where we need to get to, I would not use any percentage reduction beyond that.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
But the idea would be just, if we have to, don't know what we do, but if we have to, put that base salary at 90,000 to 95 and then use your scale from then on up. If we have,
What changes in the lit?
We need to look at,
The 107, 100 was in here, so effective perfect. Wanna recalculate?
what do we need to look, did we already look at, adjusting the non-deputy prosecutor line?
Oh, I'm not,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Almost left out the other. Sorry.
Okay. So then we have.
Alright, so back up to county general. Prosecutor, county general. 106, 108, excuse me, is investigator.
We haven't, we haven't figured out what our,
No, I'm going to, yep. 'Cause that,
yeah. Cause the level is 44,272, which is what he put in,
yeah, that was my budget request.
yeah. And that's how all the investigators are. You wanna keep it at 272, you wanna make it 44,300, like what do you wanna do?
44,300.
Right. 4,400. That gets all of our whole investigate A's at 44,300.
Row 109, or
Line
number
one.
for 109, chief investigator. He went in at the midpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. We do any Pat, we did not get the Pat B up here. Sorry, we stopped.
The, on that, on chief investigator, the salary that I budgeted, I want to compare that to, so, Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy did the almost exact same pay study for non-attorney employees in prosecutor's office statewide, all nine, one prosecutor's offices. And chief investigator, the external market is $76,300. The external salary range is 68 to 87. So I think 53,155 is certainly lower.
Do they get overtime because they're non-exempt?
Do not go overtime.
I mean, my vote is to leave it as is.
Okay. Fine. Next one, 180, chief of staff, the same at 53,155. And leave that there too, 'cause it's the same, it's a Pat D. Okay. Moving over to prosecutor lit, page 51. Got
103, 44,272, which is the level number
44,3.
3. And victim evicted,
Has at the level,
that's the level. Do you want to make that 45,500?
44,500. Yeah. 44,3 for that investigator. Comment A would make this 34,9 to a 35.
For 116.
Correct.
I'm sorry, where are you?
We're in row 116, receptionist.
Receptionist.
Been lit.
Okay.
We've made all comment A's, the internal, all 35,000. So
Gotcha, thank you.
across the board.
And then 44,3.
3. And then if we turn to page 59, director for the high tech crimes unit. That was just a simple $5,000 increase. Okay with that.
Hey, there was no increase for the director. 101.
No one yet from 60. Oh no, it's the same, 65. But that's the salary just through that grant, right? That,
Right, that's all paid by the state.
okay. So then page 69. We have, prosecutor user free trial diversion, so there's an investigator, so that's 44,3.
Like the first.
He has, that, whatever you call it, line item longevity,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a longevity line item there.
where it's added, not that where you get the check at the end of the year.
Oh, she has it built in.
Yeah,
Do we know what that is?
I can get it to you, I don't. I think that's why all the other investigators, I budgeted at 44 at the internal base, and then she had that longevity that she brought with her. So I'm assuming it's the difference between the internal base and what I have budgeted at but I'd have to look, sorry.
Okay. So we need to take the 44,300 and add that.
Mm-hmm.
You do have longevity of 2,500 in there, so there's other things you do with the other two, I guess? Okay, so then chief investigator, chief of staff investigators. Those are partially paid out of here, I guess.
Right.
$1,226.
Thank you.
$45,526. 526. It may have, but.
But
I would
now,
look up. Your salary level?
so then
I don't
that,
think it did. The other one didn't.
okay, so that adjusts FICA to 3483. And perf, oh, I take that back. Stand by. You've got those other salaries in here. Pardon me. FICA is 5174. And perf is 7575. Didn't make much. Well, now our request for them, what was,
For that user pretrial.
90, okay, 92,561.
I show a total increase of $1,008.
Hi, Eugene. Hi, Eugene.
1018.
Can we pull it out of that longevity line and then come back for it later?
January,
No, honestly, I
or
was
the health
talking,
insurance
I
line,
have to
and
tell
then,
myself, I was talking to Lisa, I wasn't here.
so with those adjustments we made to salaries,
In this user pretrial,
we now have come in over what was requested, so we have to find $1,018 to cut. So, I mean, it's outside of county general, you could come back in January and we can
Right.
move that money for you.
I got
So,
you.
are
I'm
we
with you
good
now.
with moving that out of like your longevity or your health insurance for now?
That's fine. Like you said,
Out
we
of
can
health,
come back.
get
Yeah.
out of health insurance for now.
We doing the exact amount 1018.
Yeah,
8,246. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That figure I back for is $1,018, right?
yeah, we're even Steven now. Cool.
go through and read your total for prosecutor and then is it,
Before, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I have two, I forgot this when we were talking about the prosecutor budget. Out of the prosecutor budget 137, I have two employees with that longevity issue. I have the line numbers and the amount.
What's the first line number?
109,
9.
and it's $766. 109 is the line. 766.
Right, 109, we need to add, what do you say, I'm sorry,
766.
Okay.
And then line 112,
5390, hang on, 53921.
53,900.
53,921. Okay. And you said line 112?
line 12 is 491.
44,300, what?
491.
44,791.
Okay, 44,791, that was line 112. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes.
Any other changes, Eric?
Not till we come to family support, no.
For prosecutor, in general, 1,226,767. Lit,
For Tanya,
wait a second, 1,000,000 what?
ready for this number? Prosecutor General, we have 1,226,767. All right, so for a prosecutor lit, we have 858,915. 15. Let's see, we'll do crimes.
Wait, back.
High-tech crimes, I have,
Yep.
202,500. Sorry,
Say it again.
202,500.
The same.
Yep. And
Free trial, I should, same as well.
yeah, that one we just made all even Steven. All right. The family support. All right, page 34.
So there, I have two employees with that longevity issue, whenever you're ready.
Give us
Hang on
just a second, because these are all Comet Bs.
Well, no, the first one's Comet
Comet
D,
D,
and that would be
38.5,
less than what they're making.
so that'd be frozen. Prosecutor, we skip. assistance, these are all Comet B going down, that makes them all
36,300.
36.3.
They're making 471 now?
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. My, on my ruler, but
All right, and then which of these employees, Eric,
Okay.
had the longevity?
So line 101 has $981.12.
982.
Okay.
To 41,877.
Say it again,
41,877.
and that was, added to the level. Well, the Comet D,
Added.
80,
As added to the 40,890, 40,890.
well, that's including their current longevity. So the Comet D, 38.5. That, you're right, that doesn't add up.
If they're making more than the level, we should be starting at. Or if they're making more than the level, we should be starting at 20 that they currently make.
Which includes the longevity already.
We're leaving
that's the
them.
question I asked earlier.
Cause that's higher
Made
than,
it change. Like, same, was it?
that's higher than even
we
this,
kept
so
it- we
yeah,
kept
so
long-
it's frozen, it just stays at the,
We kept longevity and added longevity to the other.
we didn't,
We did.
we went to the level,
No, we didn't.
like, for the one that was the 36,322, we started there.
That was my question. Do we want to start them all out and add longevity to it? You said, well,
If
right
we're
now,
raising their salary on top.
Go back,
my way of thinking, we should have made it all base, added longevity, and then
that's what I thought we did.
determine whether they were making more now or
Some
more
we
after.
did.
What-
I think some
what
we did,
fund
some
was
we
that?
didn't.
You remember what fund that was, what department? Was it clerk?
Clerk.
It was the line one. Yeah, we took the level of 36,
300, they were
300.
making 36,322.
and when we added the longevity to the 36.3, we added it to the base, not the current year.
And I thought we were gonna keep those.
No, nope.
That's
That's a
matrix.
difference. We
That's-
can't, when you're talking about the experience matrix for public safety, that's 100% different than this built-in longevity. That's from a plan that predates any of us on this bench.
So the the $22 comes out of a separate account. The reason I kept that stayed.
No, that is that built-in longevity that they get from a program that predates any of us.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's the
Yes.
reason that stayed. That was,
Yes, and that was,
Okay.
that longevity was added to the level of 36.3.
Yeah, that's what I was asking earlier, what,
Right, but you made it sound like we were adding it to the 24 salary, which was incorrect. We're adding it to the new level.
and so for this,
This person
Title
still
40.
makes more.
yeah, this person gets 36,322 as a base because of the added longevity that predates us, correct?
I feel like using me now, hold
Don't
on.
feel bad on.
Their 2024 was 36,322. That would have included their 62.2. I mean, if we go off salary study, or salary study, oh my gosh.
So this, so a
salary
comment D,
ordinance.
yeah,
When we do the budget, salary ordinance to that, and that's up Pam,
That line was not built in. If you look back to the text, 129 you guys talked about.
that's the one. No, we've got that all figured out now.
I'm saying the one that you talked about where you added line, added it on the 3 amount is 129.
That's what we were looking at.
So
Can I tell you the
that's
difference of
built
it?
in.
Yeah. So you did, the number that you gave us was 36,813, and that is adding the longevity to the 322, not the 36.3. Okay.
Did the 36,322
but there was
include the
another one we
longevity
did
last time?
where you reduced it to 36.3 and then
That
added the
includes-
longevity.
So we double add.
It didn't include $400.
491.
We need to go back.
They should be at 36,322. 36. They should stay at 2024,
Who?
29.
That's what I have.
Stay?
So you would put 36.
No, because they're still comment B. They automatically start at 36.3.
But they're making 36.
And then
Oh,
you have
I
to
see,
add
I
their
see.
longevity to 36.3. So then are we changing that to 36,726?
Say it again.
36,726.
So back to 4D.
Well, then that,
You're basically reducing their pay when you like that.
We talked about that. We did that for somebody else. We bumped it up because they were making 115 for the same.
but we're not, because we're getting them to a base that anyone would start at plus their longevity. It's not a reduction.
Start somebody,
It's still an increase.
don't start somebody at less money on the base than what they made last.
No. Well, first of all, it doesn't matter what they made last year. They're coming from another employer. We're trying to get all these to a base level.
I'm just saying, this person currently makes 36.
Oh, okay,
That includes their longevity.
No,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's actually less than the base.
Okay.
So now we've got the base, and now we add the longevity.
So
We're back at the clerk trying to fix something to make it
So
matchy.
that current base, let's just like make it easy.
36.
That current base is 35,831. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're making that current base 36,3.
30. No, we're gonna make it 36.3.
Okay.
Like everyone else.
All right.
Who's the comment B? And then
Okay,
we're going
I'm
to add their longevity.
491.
on line 115.
Hold on, we're on 129 still. All right, so we're in agreement now that line 29 is 36,726. Is now that the same thing for line 115 to Jim's?
I wanna get back to line 150, because we did talk, my recollection is we did talk. 2024 was 36,322. Base would have been 36,300, but we gave them 36,322.
We froze them. Yeah, they were frozen, but we needed,
We did know if they had longevity or not,
right, I have a question mark here, longevity question mark.
which we,
Do we know, Pam, can you find out?
I'm still going through on the
Yeah, clerk, line 115.
sorry,
That's all right.
We're trying to stay consistent. We just caught a mistake, so we hop back.
okay,
So
then
then
the
that
answer
one's
is no. I
frozen.
think we already It's answered frozen. that.
Well, I didn't have frozen written down, so,
Well,
okay.
we had a question about whether it was longevity or some
Or
reason.
it's in fact frozen, so that's answered. Okay, back to.
Okay, your turn.
Family support. Oh gee, all right, back to family support, page 34. So the question line, we're on 101. I have it down as frozen because 38.5 plus the 982 is still less than the 48.95. So that would be a frozen. Am I reading this correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a second, based on that criteria.
Based on the criteria that we just put in place.
Okay, say that again.
The level is 38,591.
That's my mistake.
If you take the 38,591 plus the 982, it's still less than 40,000. So the 24 salary is higher.
So it's staying at 485
895.
or 890.
And the rest were all common fees, which made him 30.
And there's one other, he's got another longevity in there.
So, I'm sorry,
That's a different longevity. When you see longevity as a line item, that is the like December Christmas bonus longevity.
No, he
No,
said
no,
he had
I-
another employee.
Oh, another employee with longevity? I'm sorry. What line item was that?
105
Okay.
and that 982. Yes,
can you tell me what you decided for your absolute final amount on 101,
Frozen.
48.95, and that includes the 982
But it's already there, right? First 20, yeah. Yes.
for me?
37,282.
Line 105. To 37,282. Yeah. Give you 451.
Fifty 177.
Yep. Nope, that's in the court, so. That's all of yours, right, Eric?
I hope so.
Do both.
Unless you want to go, like, we can talk about the assessor or the, no, just kidding.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
5187, correct?
I didn't get that number, I'm sorry.
It was for Title 4D Family Support, 450 177. 17.
Thank you.
Emily, my God.
Do you want to break for lunch? All right, let's break for lunch. We'll come back at 1:30.
Maybe late.
Okay, that's fine. I'll make sure I send you whatever I have. 30, I'm running away. I'm gonna go get some of this.